being once again the owner of a haircut, I'm bringing you this game of 33 playing Nature's Prophet. Nature's Prophet, of course, one of the strongest heroes in the current patch. A very flexible hero, can be played in any position. Here we're going to see him being played kind of as an offlaner, but we're going to see how he can get a lead with this hero and then just farm like a madman and have huge impact.
Lessons that cannot be unlearned.
He's fighting for the rune with 4 treants. Unfortunately though, he's 1 versus 2, so he's not getting that rune, and they start out with a bit of a deficit, being down 1 rune to 3. Now you can see that 33 has started out with a Quelling Blade, which is a bit of an unusual hero item on ranged heroes, but he's actually cut this tree here, which is a tree if you have a Quelling Blade, you also want to cut this exact tree so that you can pull through here. This can be pulled up here, and also it's just a convenient tree to be able to pass from here to here for both you and for your support. And this patch Quelling Blade is actually a very reasonable item to buy on ranged heroes and ranged cores, because it actually gives a lot of damage, 6 damage for just 130 gold, so that's very efficient. And he's playing 1 versus 2 at the start here, and the Urchid now is coming in, so with that excellent block they can go and kill that silencer, so they get the first blood. And Nature's Prophet is very strong at the start. He has a lot of damage, but he doesn't have any disable, so also in a lane with some sort of hero that has good disable, and Urchid of course is a prime example of that. It's also really good if you can lane against ranged heroes. So you have this Rubik Silencer lane. Both of these are squishy ranged heroes, and ranged heroes of course don't get damage block, so your treants do a lot more damage to them. Your treants deal 24 damage level 1, so against the 8 damage block that melee heroes get, they only do 2/3 of their regular damage, so it's quite nice if you can lane against these ranged heroes. And that's probably also a big part of the reason why they're setting the lanes this way. So Nature's Prophet is really good against these ranged heroes, and then our Ursa in the offlane here is much better against a melee hero like Ember Spirit. So Ursa is going to have a good lane, Prophet's going to have a good lane, and it's going to be an easy game for them. But I still think that this Ursa is sort of playing the real 1 position here, the real carry role. And but nevertheless, as we're going to see in this game, Nature's Prophet is still going to be able to actually outfarm this Ursa. So they once again go for Rubik. We can do some blocking here with those treants, and they get that kill. So 33 just having such a good start. He's 3-0. He has the highest net worth in the game. And yeah, things are just looking good. So he's gone for a Blightstone as a starting item and a Fairy Fire alongside this Quelling Blade and Tango, giving him a lot of last hit damage. And just the Blightstone as an item you're almost also going to go for as starting item on Nature's Prophet. Just gives you so much extra damage for your treants. And then after that he's gone for Boots of Speed. He's already sort of stronger at rate of fighting. He wants the boots to be able to maneuver better, and so if he's afraid of being caught out and killed, so Boots is important to prevent that, and also of course Boots is good at chasing people, so that's why it's a reasonable item. But if you're worried about not being able to last hit properly or not being able to trade well enough, you would instead rather go for another item that gives you damage. So you can go for a Gloves of Haste for the extra attack speed, or you can go for the int item, the whatever that 6+6 int item is called, on your way to treads. But here the Boots is great, and you can just keep doing these really good trades here. No Fissure up currently, but there's Enchant Totem and no mana for Fissure, so they're not going to get any kills here, but it wasn't near thing. And now Prophet also getting regen, so he's TPing back to base for regen, but he's also bringing this extra regen with that courier, just to be so you can able to constantly fight here and get as many of the skills as possible. Unfortunately, Rubik on the wrong side of the Fissure here, so they got the kill, and Silence also able to TP home. But I mean, forcing someone to TP back is also very, very strong. In the old patch, it was almost as good as getting a kill. Nowadays, it's no longer really the case because kill is now quite valuable to start. But Still forcing someone to TP back, it makes them lose so much golden experience. Urshak is going for that rune, battling with the Rubik, and he does get the rune and wants to also get the kill on Rubik. Nature's Prophet could teleport in there, but he's very low on mana, so he's just going to leave the Urshak to it. And I think that's kind of a mistake, especially now with the Silencer coming in, that Rubik is going to survive and Urshak is going to be run down here. Gets blocked slightly by the treants, but I think he would have died anyway. But now there's probably teleporting in very aggressively here, but with Storm Spirit coming in, he is going to die, and that Silencer will survive. Tries with the treants, but not much chance of getting that kill really. So kind of throwing away much of his early game lead. So he used to be top net worth, now he's down here. And he is just doing some jungling while their lane is in an unfavorable position here. The problem with Prophet is always that you can easily get caught out and killed. You have a lot of aggressive potential, but also you're kind of vulnerable on the defense. So you don't want to farm the map when it's this far forward and you're alone. So instead you should do some farming, and now there's a good fight in the bottom lane. You can join in here and they can get that kill and now take that tower with the catapult wave also coming in. So he's gonna do that wave and hit the tower at the same time, providing that minus armor onto that tower, and they will be able to claim this tower. And this of course opens up the map a lot and allows them to just farm like this region a lot more easily than they could before. When playing as Prophet, it's always very important to have good awareness of the map. I've put it in a player perspective right now, and you see while he's jungling here, he's just constantly switching around on the map, seeing if he can join some fights, and constantly jacking here. He sees this Silencer out of position, he immediately TPs in there, and with the Asher coming in, they can claim the Silencer kill. Now this position 3 Silencer is even farther behind than he used to be. I guess he's basically support net worth, even though he's supposed to be position 3. But he doesn't just blindly hit this tower. If he just hits this tower with his hero, there's a very good chance that he's going to die. So he's just going to leave his treants here, while his main hero is going to go here and do some jungling. This is the dead lane. This is the most dangerous lane to play at this stage of the game. And yeah, you just want to be safe. You have this very large net worth here. You don't just want to throw it away. This idea that Nature's Prophet is like a split pusher, it's true, but you still have to be very careful about doing that. You can't just blindly hit those towers with no backup. But of course, if you just send forward the treants, that's low commitment investment that can often pay off, because treants just don't give that much gold. So losing a couple of treants doesn't matter. But now with the rest of his team coming in, they can claim some kills here. Silencer gets sprouted and killed. Meanwhile, treants finish off that tower, so they claim the objective and a couple of kills. And now they're in a very comfortable lead here, 3k up at 9 minutes into the game. One of the things that makes Prophet so strong in this current patch is the changes to Orchid. So they made Orchid in total 400 gold cheaper. They also nerfed a little bit, and they reduced the int from 25 to 20, and they reduced the mana region. But you don't really care too much about that as Prophet. Like, okay, it's 5 damage less, but you would much rather have this item earlier than get this 5 extra damage, because it's just a very timing sensitive item. There's a lot of items that counter Orchid, items like Euls, like Manta style, like BKB, and so every second you get that Orchid earlier is just 1 second more, 1 opportunity more to get a kill on a hero like an anti-mage before he has his Manta. That just really throws off that hero's game. So this timing is very important, and that's why Orchid is so strong in the current patch. And also Bloodthorn still is the same as it always used to, but now it's just a lot cheaper because Orchid is cheaper. So what you want to do as Prophet whenever your teleport is up is you just farm in some place and sort of look around the map constantly, especially farming jungle that doesn't require most of your attention. You can just look around the map. You can see he sees an opportunity to get a kill with his ultimate. Doesn't quite work out, but it was a nice try. And he's seen all his heroes mid. He knows it's safe, or it's fairly safe to go to top lane. Gonna push out top lane. Unfortunately, he's kind of forgetting these treants here in that camp here. These treants could be pushing out the mid lane, or they could be farming that nearby camp, but he's kind of forgetting about them. But for the most part, he's just playing this really well. Now he's looking at the mid lane, he's looking at bottom lane. He sees mid lane, probably nothing important happening there. You can just farm this bottom lane. He always has a TP there, so if you can still join this mid fight if necessary, but this is not a fight that's going to go well. Don't go into losing fights. Just like with Spectre, you just want to farm and then join fights that are winnable. Join fights where your +1 is going to make a difference. Don't just feel obligated to join every single fight. Sometimes there's just fights that either are so one-sided you need to be there, or there's fights that are just hopeless. If your +1 doesn't make a difference, don't go there. It's just going to keep farming, being very efficient here, and trying to get a good timing on that Orchid. Prophet now has the Orchid complete. He hasn't shown it yet, so he's going to smoke up here together with Lina and Tiny, and they're going to try to see if they can find some sort of kill. He unfortunately wanders off a little bit from the other two heroes, so he walks up high ground, which is a really bad move. I don't quite understand why he's moving like this. So he gets caught out here by several heroes. Meanwhile, Lina and Tiny find a kill on Silencer, but Ninja's Prophet also dying, so that was not a very good reveal for his Orchid. They're going to try to fight this fight here, and they get this kill, but Lina is also being hunted down and doesn't quite make it out, so it's a 2-for-2 exchange, but of course definitely favorable for the Radiant, considering that the Ninja's Prophet, the most farmed hero on the map, just died. It's just TP to the top, just farming this camp, which is somewhat safe, but not very safe, and the entire enemy team just predicts that movement. They go and kill him, and he's now died twice in a row. And after an impeccable start, he's still top of the net worth, but no longer nearly as big of a lead as it used to be. So that's something that you have to be very careful of. Even if you have a very good start on Nature's Prophet, you're still really vulnerable. You can still very easily die, and there's just never any point where you can get complacent. No matter how farmed you are, the enemy can always kill you very easily if you're out of position. So taking all the tier 1 towers now, and they still have a good net worth lead, so now the next logic tower is this bottom tower. This tower is a lot easier to take than this tower at top, and also just opens up more of the map if you take that tower. So once that tower is down, the entire enemy jungle is contestable here. So a very important tower to take. And after that tower, they just go to top and push out that wave. You don't want to stay here in the dead lane for too long, but you do want to push it in, and you can do so fairly safely because it's near his own tower. But now he has to be a bit more careful, but he sees a lot of heroes on the map, so this is still okay. But now he's just going to spawn some treants and leave those to push out the wave, while he himself goes elsewhere. He joins the fight in mid lane, or at least considers it, but he sees already this fight is already over, it's already won, no need to join here. He can stay at top and reconsider his options. He sees a kill potential here on Silencer, but doesn't pan out. Silencer doesn't go forward, so now he's just going to go and farm this wave. If Silencer continued here, he could have TP'd here and then gotten the kill with Sprout and Orchid, but since he didn't, just goes for that wave. And they just want to control like this area. This is the area you want to control typically as the Dire. Of course, you also don't want to concede Roshan, so you have to be careful about that. But this Radiant Island is not very good at Roshing, so for the moment it's fine just to play the mid lane and the bot lane. One thing I haven't talked about, which I probably should have talked about, is the Wraith Band here. So the new Wraith Band actually gives you extra armor, making it a somewhat attractive item on Nature's Prophet, because you kind of want to have armor on this hero, you want to have attack speed. Wraith Band gives you a total of 10 attack speed, 5 from agility and then 5 from just base attack speed. And this combined with the armor is actually a fairly good item. And new Null Talisman, which has reduced stats but gives you mana regen, is not that good in Nature's Prophet. You You don't really care very much about mana regen because you can just TP back to base if you need mana. You can also consider the Bracer, which gives you damage and HP regen. So Bracer gives you more damage than Wraithbane does, but just with the attack speed, Wraithbane just gives you more DPS, and you care more about the armor than about the HP regen here. For a similar reason, you don't need mana regen, you don't need HP regen either. So Wraithbane, a fairly good item here. I'm not sure if it's really that great. Maybe you can also consider just getting a casual gloves of attack. So they go for another smoke here to find something, and Storm Spirit being silenced up here, as well as stunned from the Tiny, is going to die here, and 33 claims another kill, putting him even farther up here on net worth. But you don't want to walk uphill here. You walk uphill here, even though you have BKB, that's very risky. You're just going to use that Sprout to give some vision, and then back off. And he's learned from his earlier mistakes, especially that smoke where he walked here, just walked into 3 or 4 heroes and got killed. That was very painful. Meanwhile, Ember Spirit is being engaged on here with the silence coming in. Ember Spirit is going to almost get out, but he gets killed here. After the Orchid, 33 went for a Black King Bar. Of course, very obvious, good item here. So many things that you can block with BKB. I mean, the Fiend Script still goes through it, but pretty much everything else gets blocked. So, very strong item, of course, and especially if you have such a large net worth lead. Just getting that BKB is so crucial so that you can actually get out your damage during a fight. Then after BKB, he went for a Shadow Blade, which is a strong item on Nature's Prophet in general. It's not so much about the split pushing, it's more just about being able to get a few Orchid against mobile heroes like Ember Spirit and Storm. Otherwise they can just always just jump away when you get near them. So otherwise, without Shadow Blade, the only way you can really get off a good silence is if you're getting at them from the trees or from high ground or something like that. So with Shadow Blade you can just walk up to them, invis, and actually get off your Orchid, get off your Sprouts, and then perhaps get a kill. And unlike Blink Dagger, Shadow Blade also gives a good amount of damage and attack speed, so just a much more efficient use of that slot. It's rune time, so he's going for that bottom rune. One of the advantages of playing Prophet is just always go for those runes. He finds this Bane here, and he wants this kill very badly, so he's going to go up here and kill that Bane. And Bane wisely does not use the Fiend Script. That would have only delayed the inevitable. He wouldn't have been able to get a kill here on Nature's Prophet, and Nature's Prophet would eventually just kill him once the thing wears off, even if there's no Tiny coming in here to help. So get that kill, but of course pay the BKB for that, 10-second BKB just to kill support. But now they can possibly get more than support here. Ember Spirit does not get out. Very good timing here with the spells. They get that kill, and they now have a huge lead, 12k net worth lead at 25 minutes. That is just tremendous. They still have the Aegis. Yes, Aegis is still up here on Ursa. So now they actually want to go and claim high ground. But it's not very easy. So this lineup that they're running here is not that good at high ground taking. And the enemy team is pretty good at defending. Like this Silencer is super vulnerable. It's position 3 Silencer with no real escapes except for Full Staff. Is very weak if he gets caught out, but if he's just standing high ground, he's quite strong. And you know, similar thing for Storm Spirit, really good high ground defender. Same for Ember Spirit. It's not easy to actually convert this large net worth lead into tier 3 towers and Raxes. So rather than just trying to go for the high ground push anyway, they are converting their lead into an even bigger lead by just controlling the map, and they can farm everywhere on Nature's Prophet and then still join the fights. And they have all this initiation. They have this Tiny with this Blink Dagger and Shadow Blade. They have Ursa, who will be eventually going for a Abyssal Blade, but not yet. And of course they have also Earthshaker with his Blink, with his Echo Slam. And Lina can also initiate. She has Shadow Amulet, is probably also going to go for a Shadow Blade. Whenever enemies show themselves on the map, they're just hunting them down. The Silence is forced to use Silence here to try to save this fight here, but Ursa is so strong here with his MKB, with his Battle Fury and Sentient Yasha. Also get a kill here on the sneaky support here, hiding with Shadow Amulet. So they only get the one kill, but they also forced out the Silence ultimate. Urshik of course also dying is not the greatest, but they get Silence, they get position 3 hero here for a position 4. They have a 20k lead by now, and they're still just controlling the map. They don't want to go high ground, they just want the enemy to come out and contest the map, and then they want to jump on them. So they see the enemy coming out here, so Nature's Prophet is going to TP in here from behind. Because they're so strong, they can do this and catch out this Ember with his Yules. He can save himself for now, so Ember escapes, and yeah, they try to hunt down this Bane, but Bane also escapes. So in this case, things actually not working out too well here, but now the Radiant team want to fight here with the Silence, with the BKB on the Storm here, but they just can't fight here, so they lose 2 heroes, and now it's high ground time. As I said, it's really difficult to push high ground here, and the Storm just being so annoying. They also have the glyph still here, so this catapult is... Actually, the catapult not in range here? Wow, what is going on there? Oh, it's extra range from like... Oh, it's extra range from the telescope. Interesting, nice. And it works on catapults too? Didn't even know that. Okay, so yeah, catapult being protected here by the telescope. Lost the Earthshaker here, but yeah, they did some decent damage to the tower. They forced out the glyph. Roshan is finally respawned, so you can go and do that now. And of course it's very difficult for the enemy team to contest. They see heroes down here. Very nice ward, by the way. It's unlikely to be ordered, and you see immediately if enemy teams leaves the base, so they get the Roshan completely uncontested, and honestly being 25k behind, even if you know this Roshan is happening, you probably can't contest here. So now they have the Aegis once again on the Ursa, and they also have a cheese, which I think the... Oh, the Earthshaker has a cheese, interesting. So Nature's Prophet is by now 6 slotted. He has the Treads, the Orchid, the BKB, the Shadow Blade, and he went for AC. Very strong item, both on the main hero, just gives you a good amount of attack speed and armor. And then he went for the Satanic as his 6th item. Satanic, of course, very efficient item in terms of sustain in the fight. It's a very expensive item now, but if you have this amount of net worth, you can still go for it. So he tries to go for high ground here, and with Satanic he can heal himself back up. But with the Silence coming in, this is actually not the best fight. So this is what I was talking about. This is really difficult to go high ground in this game. There's Prophet already dead. The rest of the team not doing too well either. Ember Spirit jumping forward gets stunned off, but he doesn't die. And Earthshaker is now also about to die. Ursa tried to dive in deep here. He's gonna get killed. So yeah, this Earthshaker is going to eventually make it out of here. So he gets they have no detection here, so they gets out here. So that's the only survivor. But even though they were more than 20k ahead, they still didn't have a chance here in this fight. They just had a very strong team fight from the Radiant lineup. As long as they have good positioning here, they can do so much. So this just shows them they have to be even more careful when going high ground. World 33 is going for a very defensive kind of build, because he knows there's so many things the enemy can do to kill him. He kind of needs the extra defense from things like BKB and Satanic just to survive those fights, and even though that lowers his damage output a little bit here. So this fight is actually kind of close here, lots of buybacks coming in, and in these kinds of fights, if you have this very defensive item build, you can sort of afford to be a bit in the front lines. Whereas if you went for a more glass cannon kind of build, you can say go for another big damage item instead of Satanic, then you would have to play a lot more carefully here, but this is a very beefy Nature's Prophet. He has all the status resistance from Satanic, all that sustain, he has BKB to save him, he has lots of armor. Like, he has more than 40 armor here. So he's quite the brawler. They find Bane also. And yeah, now they're again just pushing out these waves. And before they really want to go high ground next, they want to find some sort of pickoffs. But instead, this Prophet kind of walks up here and is ended up being picked off himself. And he's so super farm, so you can kind of do this, but don't try this if you're not very far ahead. So they get the kill here, and Rubik also going to die here. So double kill here. Now 4 people dead. And to be fair though, the Storm is almost back alive. And now he's gonna sell his boots for Scythe. This is also kind of a risky move, selling his buyback, but he can sort of do it because he'll have all tier 2 towers up, so it's fairly safe. So now he's this full 6 slot without boots. Now that there's still 3 people dead, they can just go and take all these objectives here and try to end this game. So Nature's Prophet, just a really strong hero in terms of farming, but the problem is just that he doesn't scale that well with farm. So you can sort of compare him in a lot of ways to a hero like Spectre, who can also farm and join fights on the other side of the map. But the difference is that like a 15k Spectre probably does more than like a 25k net worth Nature's Prophet. Even though his Nature's Prophet is a 30k net worth, it's almost twice the net worth of the enemy cores, he's still kind of struggling to finish this game. So that's always something to keep in mind here. Nature's Prophet, a hero that just doesn't do all that much in team fights, even when he has all these items up. But just sort of compensates for that by being able to farm really fast. And one way of dealing with that conundrum is just to go for utility items instead, but of course also slows down your farm speed. And with the Orchid being so strong in this current patch, I feel like this right-click style of play is a lot more viable. And you can still go for the utility style, go for items like Mech, go for items like a Solar Crest, so as the AC, then later on. This is still very viable, but if you have such a good start as in this game, and you're playing with this frankly a bit overpowered Orchid, it's definitely, I think, very viable to go for this right click style. And you can see he's working out really well in this game. So they get those kills, and now they can finally end this game. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, recommend the channel to your friends, and if you haven't already, please join the fold by subscribing and ringing the bell. And all is willing, I will see you next time.